Hello, sweet peas. This video, I'm going to explain the uncovering of the exponential. So let me just grab my slides. This video is going to be about 15 to 20 minutes, and it's going to be straight down the middle. So let's do it. Okay, uncovering the exponential. The real truth behind the macro wave of neurodivergence. This neurodivergence is happening everywhere. And I've been in this industry. I've been for a long, long, long time. I've literally watched it happen underneath my face. So there's so many more answers for you guys than what you would ever imagine. Okay, this is just the start. So hang with me. Here's what we're going through. The law of complexity, the primary inner challenge, the end of history, what we're up against as a unit here, as a team, the sweet peas, and what the do we do about it? What do we do next? Let's go. The law of complexity. The law of complexity is very well known, actually, but it's denied by the scientific community because if it was to adopt it as truth and something we can use, then it has to rework its entire understanding. So it just gets pushed to the side, even though we all know it's really, really, really true. And it's simple. As a system grows, it naturally becomes more complex, and you've got to use effort to keep it simple. Unless effort is applied to a natural system to simplify it, all natural systems do is increase in complexity. Guess what a natural system is? A human being is the most natural system. Check this out, right? This is just rough time frames, all right? Now, I want you to pay attention. You guys are smart. They're the smartest ones of the bunch, so you'll get this. The time it took for an atom to complexify into a single-celled organism, 10 billion years. Long time, long time. Just check out the rate of change, okay? From these single-celled organisms and let's say basic plant life to first animal life, 3.2 billion years. All right, so that's a significant jump in complexity again. You see where I'm going here. Animal life, early animal life, to sensory feeling apes, big jump in complexity, 600 million years. The ape kind, the first sensory feeling kind of beings we could call them, to a thinking human, 200,000 years. The thoughtful human to the witness awareness, that little spot of consciousness inside of us that can watch and witness, 5,000 years. The self-reflective witnessing human to the technium, which is this entire layer of the technical and digital world we have right now, from a witness self-awareness person, when there was no technium on the planet, no digital world on the planet, 50 years. Okay, most important factor here, right-hand side, the increased rate of change, okay, complexity, the law of complexity. It just gets faster and more complex and faster and more complex and faster and more complex. Now apply this to the human central nervous system. This whole thing, you could actually say this whole chart here is the nervous system finding its feet. To right now, apply this law of complexity to the human central nervous system. The exponentials, you are the living, walking, breathing example of this law of complexity. This is the actual truth behind neurodivergence and why there is so much central nervous system divergence happening right now is this one graph. Okay. You can call this chaos theory, but let me describe it really simply. On the left-hand side, we have stability, points of stability or equilibrium. Less variables, more stability, right? Look at that one line. We've got one line, stable, 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 and then it splits into two. Rate of change increases. The bottom line is rate of change. So as stability and rate of change increases, or complexity, then stability decreases. This is just a diagram, a visual diagram of the last slide. This is where we're at right now, that yellow dot. We're at maximum intensity, maximum complexity. We're at maximum complexity, which means complexity, I describe it like this. This is the best way to describe it. If you're a Terence McKenna fan, you'll get it. Density of connection. Complexity is density of connection. Your brains and nervous systems are so much more, you're exponentially complex, you're exponentially denser in connection on the inside of you and connection with everyone else. Nothing is broken in you. Nothing is broken. You have simply become too complex to fit into cultural predictable models of what we're supposed to do here, what you're supposed to do here, and how it's all supposed to go. Your brain, your central nervous system, following the laws of nature, has massively outrun our culture. Okay? Simple as that. You are exponentially different to the brains and nervous systems of the people that still run the world. And all of the old beliefs that we're still dealing with, they're not going to jam with you at all. Okay. The rate of change and the density of connection or complexity of the human central nervous system is reaching max intensity right now. Right now. Why the hell would I even be talking about this? Right? Who would even care? Who would even care? Well, what does this mean for your everyday life? You can keep using the word neurodivergent if you want. I'm going to use exponential because you're exponentially different, not just a little bit. You have exponential intelligence, you have exponential awareness, or subtlety. You'll hear me say subtlety all the time. Primary difference you'll see between a normie and an exponential is subtlety. You can cut things into finer slices, and it's true. Exponential depth, exponential sensitivity. Okay? Exponential. So far ahead, you can present like you're behind. Guess what else you get? Exponential irritation, exponential defiance, exponential emptiness, and exponential pain. Like you're different in every single way. Every single way. And I'm sure you're resonating with this. Well, what does this all mean? Well, let's slow it down a bit. What the hell does this all mean? Well, it means we've got a different job to do. Seriously, you've got different tools. You've got a completely different engine under there. And if you try and make it fit any cultural norm or standard path, you are going to be a psychopath. You're going to irritate yourself to no end. Okay. Hang with me here. Hang with me here. Nature, raw, alive nature, is relentlessly seeking more complexity. Your nature, always moving to greater complexity and faster. Law of complexity. It wants more complexity faster and does it faster and faster and faster. She wants denser connections and more interactions more of the time. Culture doesn't want that. Culture doesn't want that at all. Culture is relentlessly and artificially seeking simplification and is always seeking to reduce, right? So people trying, that's the culture. People trying to get it right, trying to fit you in a box, trying to put you over here, trying to help, trying to whatever. They're actually trying to reduce you and to simplify. Why? It's from a good intention. They don't want pain and whatever, but they simply do not understand the depth of what's going on. I say he because culture is very much kind of paternal. He wants less friction, less freedom to reduce instances of failure. So the culture is not bad. It's well-intentioned. It's just nowhere near deep enough. That's it. Culture's not bad. It's just nowhere near deep enough to understand the brain of the exponential. All right. That's the first part done. Complexity theory. Okay, the law of complexity. You're living it. You're living the experience of hyper complexity. That ain't going to slow down. It ain't going to slow down. No matter what practices you do, no matter what meds you're on, no matter what, it's not going to slow down. So you're here to learn about yourself. Okay, you're here to learn. I work on the inside, right? I've been doing this for a long time. So I'll show you the macro pattern of inside challenges, what people have really been struggling with. I'll give you the cultural era and then what was going on. In the 50s, we've got kind of religious life and familial life. You just follow the pattern, right? Follow your family or your religion. In the 70s, you kind of got industry happening and then the counterculture movement. You know, the big movement to India, the big spiritual movements and the big defiance and cool stuff there. 90s, we've got pop culture and personal empowerment. Think like Oprah and Tony Robbins, really started to become individual at this point. This is where the individual become important. You see, before that, it was very much still group and community. 90s was very much individual. 2000s, we've got early digital. And then now we've got technium and dimensionality. Technium meaning the whole tech sphere, and dimensionality meaning this stuff that I'm kind of talking about now, subtlety and dimensionality, opening up to new spaces. The bottom gray bit here I'm going to show you is the primary inner challenge people were experiencing at this time. In the 50s, it was deep guilt and shame. Like guilt because everyone's an individual and people would have had instant drives and needs and wants that had nothing to do with the family. So they feel massive guilt and shame for that. In the 70s, it was impotence and powerlessness. I can't do anything about the industries raping the planet. I can't do anything about, being forced by my family to be a doctor when I don't want to be. I just feel impotent, powerless. 90s, when we got this individual movement thing happening, then we come across this deep inner challenge of like zero self-worth. I don't feel empowered at all. And I don't feel myself to be valuable at all. 2000s, we begin the emptiness and the depression because the digital world and the tech world brought in a shitload of convenience. And when people latch onto convenience, it just empties themselves. So there was a lot of emptiness and depression. Now, you guys, the sweet peas. What's the deepest inner challenge right now? You might even be able to intuit it or guess it. But in this time of the technium, this tech dominance and dimensionality means so many of our favorite people, we're all in different places. We're all navigating different places all the time. And especially we've got a big, big movement now of plant medicine, cannabis, and MDMA therapy, and we're playing with dimensionality. Well, here's the primary inner challenge right now, and I will, I will back this all the way home until I kick the bucket. This is the inner challenge right now. A void in the heart. There's there's holes in people's heart, in the heart self. There's a missing essential self. The essential self, we'll get there. We're going to talk about it. This is why everything feels plastic, everything feels dumb, everything feels boring, everything is fake, everything feels like full of fucking shit. Is because you can start to see that it's not essential. Boring stuff, mindless stuff, it's not essential. Where's the essentials? Where's the truth? Where's the real shit gone? What's happening? It's the missing essential self in the heart. We have a void in the heart. The exponentials have a void in the heart, I guarantee. This is our primary thing to solve as a team here, is this spot. The complexity is more theory background, okay? Don't get too lost in that. It's this essential self, is missing essential self, and heart is the most important thing. Yay. Okay. Now I'm going to give some like cultural background on, well, no, the kind of global village background on why it's important to know that kind of history has ended in a way. History is made of world-changing events that create timestamps in our kind of shared mind. And guess what? There's just no world-changing events left. Simple as that. All of our nature has been kind of conquered, all of our natural environments, or now just kind of protected and guarded by government. Long-standing athletic world records, they'll start falling more and more and more, and faster and faster and faster. Not slow and slow, faster and faster, until they're kind of devalued because they're happening all the time. You'll actually see that everywhere. Big stuff happening all the time devalues it. You don't care about it. World-changing terror events, I think 9/11 was so massive, was so massive. They're going to happen all the time, and they are happening all the time. What would have been world-changing entertainment, big, just music that changes the world, and those big music events and Live Aid and things like that, they just get swallowed in the algorithm now. They don't have an impact. Wars and conflict are happening all the time. Countries and cultures are dissolving their boundaries and kind of blending into this massive globalization. So again, we have no timestamps. We have no boundary stamps. There's no big moments left. Like big moments are now swallowed into the rate of change. These big moments are happening all the time. Right. Finally, this is the big one. Cultural promises, the things that have been promised. Education will do it. Money will do it. Running your own businesses will do it. Marriage will do it. These things are going to give you the good life. They're going to give you the sweet good life. Well, they've just massively underdelivered. Take it from someone who's had it all, done it all. It's good. It's good. It keeps you busy, but they've massively underdelivered. Where does history go from here? It doesn't. Think of it really. And here's a simple analogy. When a river reaches its end, what's it do? It swirls. And that's what's happening right now. We're swirling. We're swirling and we're lifting into a world of dimensionality. If a river hits an end, it swirls and then it rises and it finds its new way. Right now, we're in the swirl and the rise. Here's what we're fighting against. And I have rarely used these terms, but I am, because we have to. And I had to think about myself, like, what would I dig in for? What would I really, come on, like, let's go. What would I get? What would I rip in for? Number one, it's uncovering this is a side note, uncovering the essential self in people, in the exponentials is my number one focus. But the real fight, the real war here we got is shifted from the surface into psychological territories. There are three main enemies that we're fighting against as exponentials, that because these things block access to our essential self. The real shit, the real shit is the essential self, the missing spot in the heart. Okay, sweet peas? The missing spot in the heart. Here are the three things that block that for us. One, we're going to go slow here. The inertia, images, and lack of plasticity in the normie. I love that term, normie, so much. Normies, you know what I'm talking about? Inertia. They are stuck in inertia. Why? Is because the general population, non-neurodivergent, general mind, just live in habit. They just live in sameness of experience. Right now, that is the inertia is so deep. The inertia, they're stuck. They're in mud. Images, because this inertia, this habit is based on, they get stuck in an image of themselves that they can't change. They can't do anything. Everything's got to comply to, the good dad and the whatever, the business person or blah, blah, blah. Just these images that replay over and over. This creates a lack of plasticity. They can't change. They're not plastic. They're not open to dynamic life. All the complexity that affects us doesn't get to them because it's happening underneath the surface, but they're running this image over and over and over. Next one, institutional belief. Let me explain this. I'll make this clear the best I can. We are not going to war here we're not going to war here from the outside. It's not about big pharma or food companies. Oh no, it's not about that. It's their beliefs. Okay, it's their intangible beliefs that are killing people. It's not the outside stuff. It's not the profit. It's not the buildings. It's not the food supply chain. It's not that. It's not that. Right? We can't go to war externally anymore. The war is all psychological, in the invisible space. Any institution has a set of beliefs. Any religious institution, political institution, any group of people that form an institution, they have a shared set of beliefs. I'm not interested in any of them. Why? Because no institutional belief has anything to do with the essential self in the heart. None of it. Couldn't be bothered. So boring. Go to sleep, snore. Who cares? It's not the institutions, it's their beliefs, okay? And institutional beliefs run deep. They run really deep. We are going to war against their beliefs, not the people, not the buildings, not the fucking pesticides, nothing outside. This is all inside. Lastly, The 6 embedded values of the acculturated mind. The next slide shows them. But again, these 3 things are all intangible and psychological. We are not going to war. We're not going to war outside. That's done. Violence and doing all that shit, it's just so, that's not it. That's not it. But we do need to take a stand, and it's on the inside stuff. These 3 things are just given a name, mind walkers, because everyone involved in these 3 things, they're just walking around their own mind with that. I mean, dead legit here. And people that have worked with me and still work with me will know exactly what I'm talking about. They'll get a good kick out of this. Mind walkers. When the heart opens and your essential self really pops open, you can look at people and you go, they are literally in their own mentalized projection of the world. They're in their own mind. They're just walking around their own mind. That's why it's so frustrating. Listen to this. You know why you get so irritated at people telling you what to do? It doesn't matter if they're right, doesn't matter if your boss, mom, dad, doesn't matter. You know why you get so irritated at people trying to tell you what to do? Somewhere in you, you know it's just a mind walker dribbling their shit on you. And you know it. And you get frustrated in your bones. Like, get the fuck out of my way. None of your demand or pressure on me has any relevance at all. That's what you're intuiting there, is this the sense that this mind walker is just a walking projection. There's nothing essential about them. Okay. Here's the cultural mind, as I said. What the hell are these 6 values? Well, they're the following. Financial accumulation, wealth and accumulation, hoarding money is a cultural value. It's got nothing essential about it. Sex and beauty standards, cultural value. The intellect and reason as king, everyone's just got to be reasonable and intellectual on that all. That's let us down over and over and over. That is a cultural value. Dominance and competition, cultural value. Although it is in nature, right? Dominance and competition is in nature. It's when it's expressed only by itself is when it's a cultural value. It's when someone can only be dominant, only be competitive. I'm dominant and competitive too, definitely. But there's way more to me than dominance and competition. Where this becomes a cultural sticking point and a cultural value that hurts the exponentials is that people that can only be dominant. Again, boring, snoozy, and all psychological based, just image based. Social status, prestige, and power. And finally, the LTR ideal, which stands for the long-term relationship ideal. That's just a model. And when you really follow your heart will know if you're designed for a long-term relationship or if you're not. Your heart will know that. The essential self in the heart doesn't really pay attention to any of these values, but our entire culture does. Okay. In the background of our culture, this wins. This is the implicit software of the standard group of people, the normies, quickly becoming my favorite term, the normies. In the background of their life sits these values without a doubt, and they don't even know they're being run by it. Okay. That is the culture. That is the acculturated mind, the fully acculturated mind. So let's go back, I reckon. Let's go back. What are we going to war against inside, from the inside? No violence, no attack. That's done. We tried that. Doesn't work. The inertia, the stuckness, the psychological images, and the lack of change and plasticity of the general mind. It's the inertia of the rat race, right? The inertia and the heavy, heavy habits of the kind of, let's again, the middle class, you could say. The giant wave of middle class is just heavy, stuck in that inertia. Institutional belief, not institutions, not government, it's their beliefs, right? I'll say it again, any institution that tries to tell me what to believe is laughable. It's laughable. Why? Because the heart's process needs a variation of truth from so many different areas. Why would I shove myself in one institutional belief, one institutional religion, one institutional school of thought, one institutional university? The heart needs truth from all different areas. So get your institutional belief out of here. And then we have the 6 embedded values of the acculturated mind, which are these. Let's take a pause. They run the culture. They also block the heart's process. They block the life of the exponential. Okay. We're nearly there, guys. We're nearly there. Thanks for hanging in there. There's so much more to explore. By the way, this is such a little intro. We have our mind walkers. We have our kind of zombie-like mind walkers that are just doing their same habit over and over and over. And they're literally fighting. They're fighting for their sameness of experience, and it's doing nothing. It's doing nothing. They don't even realize that they are fighting for the same shit that they've always been in, and the same bullshit and the same pain and the same problems. They fight for sameness. We're not doing sameness here. Okay. As you can see by the graph, the first graph I showed, we're doing change and a lot of it. The sweet peas. Okay, here's what we're doing. This is how we do it. This is literally what we do as a team, as a unit. We learn new inner maps and tools. Okay, so you're a different thing. Exponential awareness, exponential sensitivity, exponential depth, exponential intelligence. You need to learn about your insides. And we have a shitload of maps to teach you and tools. Because we need to know how to stand our ground, but psychologically. Okay? We need to know how to stand our ground and be so convicted when we're abrasively bumping up against cultural shit. We need to be able to stand our ground without getting aggressive, without flipping. Okay. Next thing, we're dedicated to heart work. We replace all mental belief. We don't need any institutional belief, any religious belief. We do not need that. We do not need that anymore. We replace all belief with essential qualities. Essential qualities are aspects of the heart. And again, we have teachings on this everywhere that are felt experiences that are smarter, that are bolder, that are stronger, that are more trustworthy. There's more guidance, there's more intelligence in your heart than anywhere else. And it's your heart. You do not need an institution. You do not need any of that. Okay. We do heart stuff here. The exponential is a heart-based person. That's why you're the sweet. That's why you're the sweet peas. Don't ever underestimate the word heart either. It is vast and deep, and it's your journey to take. Number 3, we detox our own psychology. Okay. From the 6 values before, we detox out of them because they're not real. They're not really real. They're not essential. Okay. You don't need to accumulate masses of wealth. It does nothing, right? You don't need a long-term relationship. That's not the ideal. You just don't know that about yourself. The heart will know. Social status and power and prestige does nothing in the face of life. It does nothing for grief, it does nothing for loss, it does nothing for change, it does nothing. Okay, so those 6 cultural values, we've got a whole set of teachings again on how to detox them out of you so they're not interrupting you, so they're not blocking your heart's process. We've got a big focus on cultural detox. We've got a huge focus on essential qualities. We've got a huge focus on psychological detoxing, and we've got big, juicy, complex maps and really, really useful tools, all designed for the exponential, otherwise known as the sweet peas. Number 4. Okay, big one. We work hard to reveal our essential life. What the hell is this essential life, Nathaniel? What are you talking about? I'll tell you straight to your face. If you are a neurodivergent /exponential /sweet pea, then I know one thing about you. No matter who you're working with, no matter what you're doing, you will be the most sincere. We're the most sincere. You say sincere shit. You say really, really truthful stuff. No matter what happens. No matter we say where the chips fall where they may. Let the chips fall where they may. You can bring sincerity. Wherever that sincerity is coming from, That is your essential self. And that thing can bloom, all right? And it must bloom. If you don't do heart stuff and you've got a neurodivergent exponential nervous system, if you do not do heart stuff, you're going to suffer. Let's finish off here. A little bit of poetic stuff to finish off, guys. A little bit of juicy stuff. I only see one thing left in this world doing very hard things for. I don't see much left to fight for. In fact, I wouldn't fight for much. And I wouldn't listen to people, giving you the old models and old ways either. And you know this. You know this. You can see straight through it. You're smart as you know this. I see only one thing left doing very, 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 very hard things for. Hard things suck. Hard things are hard. What's the point of doing them? Well, bringing your heart out of the shadows to the front of your life will change everything. It will change everything. And it has hard elements. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong here. It has hard elements. But bringing your heart to the surface is the only thing I truly, truly see it's worth doing hard things for. Hard emotional things, hard work things, hard psychological things. It's this. It's bringing your heart, your essential self, to the front of your life and filling in that void in the heart, filling that gap in. That's exactly what we do. Anyone can do it, but it's best done by the exponentials. Okay. Anyone can bring their heart forward. Anyone in the world at any age, at any time, but it's best done by the exponentials. Okay. Get used to that gold infinity sign, huh? See it? See it? See it? See it behind me? See it behind me? See it here? Get bloody used. And it's full spectrum development is a very deliberate name. Obviously, full spectrum development. Why do we do this? Because to me, it looks like the rest is dead or done. Okay. Culture is really, really good at over promising and under delivering. Okay. The world is really, really good at over promising and under delivering. What it looks like to me in all this change is that because it's all done, it's all done. We got there. We got there. Little intro. I'm going to stop my share. I'm going to say goodbye. Thanks for hanging out. This channel is yours. I'm here for you. I've been tracking this stuff for quite a long time now. I'm launching it out to the public. Hit me up, guys. Ask questions. Leave comments. Email me and say, get on a Zoom with me and what the hell are you talking about? If you're interested, if this is catching you in some way, like maybe this is me, like get involved. I'm calling you out. I'm literally calling you out going, come on. You can't run rings around me. Give me everything you got. I'm here to get that heart forward and out. Okay. So if you resonate with this and you go, yep, I'm neurodivergent, I'm an exponential, I'm a sweet pea, I'm calling you forward. That's what I'm here to do. I'm calling you forward. We've got to do this. We've got to do this, team. All right. Catch you on the next one. Bye.